So this first songs you recorded when you were in Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was reading that you moved to New York. Has this moving cities affected your music?
Probably a little bit. I think anytime you change your environment or surroundings, all of that stuff seeps in, you know. I always kind of talk about, like, I feel like I'm a pretty a person who's like susceptible to being influenced by things, people and music and anything. So I know, I'm sure that environment and place is definitely among those.
Can you pinpoint a song that is related to the city or to something that happened there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a song that's gonna be on the upcoming LP called Mad About You, which I later realized is like the name of like a bad sitcom or something, but in the 90s or something. But that one kind of came out of just having moved to New York and like also at the same time kind of getting into like early like 1920s show tunes and stuff. And yeah, so I turned into this sort of like carnival kind of tune that, I don't know, I think probably came from being in a city like New York for the first time, and you know, it's so overwhelming, but there's like there's so much history there too, and like seems like ghosts and forgot where I was going with that. Yeah, just like excitement and weirdness. So I think that's probably where that came from.
Yes. And now that you are releasing your first LP, do you feel any more pressure in relation to the first EP? Has anything changed in this regard? Because you've signed to Jaguar also.
More pressure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's more stuff that I have to do, but as far as writing, I mean, I always just write kind of the same way, which is in itself changes a lot, but it's ultimately, I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to write anything different just because I'm on a record label now. Just trying to keep writing is the main thing, keep writing more stuff.
How do you write?
It depends. Sometimes, mostly I'll just, you know, sit down with play the guitar for a while and see if a tune comes, or you know, tune will just come into your head and you like whistle it or something, or I do a lot of like voice memo things on the iPhone. That's like a favorite feature of that. It's nothing that like that I would want anyone to hear, actually, because it's probably just a lot of like incoherent mumbling and humming with like city background noise a lot of the time. But yeah, I don't know. Then taking those pieces and, you know, kind of come up with one piece at a time a lot of the time, and then you'll like notice that like one piece will fit with another one, and then eventually like a whole song will come together out of it. So I kind of like writing that way.
Yeah, and talking about writing, you have lots of literary influences.
Mm-hmm.
How does that come into play into your lyrics?
Yeah, I mean, I try to read a lot, and watch a lot of films and TV shows and stuff. I mean, not all of that is like quote unquote literary, but yeah, I don't know. I think it probably comes through lyrically. I don't know, like stream of consciousness type things, or like I try to write in like story forms, I guess, you know, or like from different character perspectives, things like that. A lot of times I think about writing in those terms, like characters and stories and stuff. They're like short stories to me, sort of. Like, I've never been able to really write a short story, but I can write like a short song that's a story. Yeah, I don't know, longer form narratives is just something that has always escaped me. I've never really been able to do that. But stringing a few words together seems easier.
Can you give the example of a song that has like this character structure?
Well, I guess that one that I mentioned earlier is kind of that. It's like a story of just like a person wandering around and kind of like losing their mind a little bit. And then, you know, it's like a love song. I don't know. So I'm not very good at talking about the songs.
And still, do you mix, or do you use somehow your knowledge in graphic design and in illustration? Is this related to your music somehow?
Kind of. I mean, I guess well, for one, I like will do my own artwork a lot of the time. That, and my girlfriend is a photographer too, so like she shot the cover for the EP, The Alien Sunset, and also like helped me do the layout. And yeah, there's like, so I'll do stuff like make out my own album art or stuff like that. But I think as far as writing or recording music, there's some similarities there, I guess, in the way that the process works of making anything, but I don't really think about it that much.
Can you give the example of one similarity?
I mean, I guess just having a concept, like starting with a concept, and then like kind of moving. Well, I guess like less in writing and more in like recording, I could see similarities, because you kind of piece things together in recording, at least I do, like overdubbing instruments and vocal parts and stuff, and there's a lot of adding and subtracting things to see what works, and design and illustration is like that too, a lot, you know. There's a lot of erasing involved, and drawing and trying different things, seeing what works and what doesn't.
A bit of a trial and error process.
Yeah, that's the word.
All right, Max. Thank you. Thank you very much
thank
for
you.
your time.